We are now at the Wisma Kebudayaan Sukagakai, Malaysia, and we are about to view the exhibition entitled The Lotus Sutra, a message of peace and harmonious coexistence. The reason we feel it's extremely timely to have this exhibition here in Malaysia today is because we feel that the world has entered a time where we really need to reconsider and reflect upon the messages that are contained within this Lotus Sutra. What the Lotus Sutra is trying very much to teach is that life is the most precious treasure. And not only is it most precious, but within each human life is tremendous potential. This teaching of the Lotus Sutra was actually taught amazingly more than 2,000 years ago. What you will see here in this first floor of the exhibition will be various pictures that illustrate the message of the Lotus Sutra. The Lotus Sutra contains 7 parables, and each parable carries a very important message. This is the parable of the 3 kinds of medicinal herbs and 2 kinds of trees. This parable is teaching us that there are lots of different kinds of herbs, lots of different kinds of trees, and each one is unique in themselves. Each one has got the potential to reveal its own characteristics. In other words, it's actually telling us that each one of us don't have to feel we have to model ourselves against a stereotype. Each person can be he or she herself and yet be extremely beautiful in his or her own way. When people started to read about these ideas contained in the Lotus Sutra, many people in subsequent ages, and when I say subsequent ages, I mean people who live hundreds of years later, they were very moved to the extent they started to write about it, they started to make paintings about it. And one of the most important evidence of these activities of people in subsequent years were the artwork and also the writings that are collected in what we call Dunhuang, the caves at Dunhuang. So this panel shows pictures of the Dunhuang Mogao caves. These caves have been excavated and constructed over 1,000 years. If you look at this painting here, this is actually a sutra painting that depicts the Lotus Sutra for easy understanding. So this is an attempt by people in subsequent centuries to actually describe the teachings of the Lotus Sutra in a very pictorial form. So this picture is actually on the roof of one of the caves. Come now to the first floor, which actually details the story of the birth of Buddhism and the spread of Buddhist culture over the centuries. You can see evidence of interaction between Buddhist scholars and also Greek philosophers. Here, there is a discussion between the king Menanda and the Buddhist monk Nagasena. This is a coin that's owned by Menanda, one of the Greek kings. The coins incorporate designs from both Greek and Indian cultures. And the important point I wish to highlight here is the importance of cultural fusion and cultural exchange. In other words, the importance of interaction between people of different cultures in order to bring harmony among people. Thanks to the National Museum, we are able to exhibit some of these very special artifacts. These artifacts actually reveal evidence of cultural interaction between Buddhist culture and also Indian culture and Malaysia. So these are artifacts that were found in various parts of northern Malaysia. This is actually the head of a Buddha statue made of green stone. And this was discovered accidentally at Kampung Sungai Mas in Kuala Muda district of Kedah. And you've got quite a number of other very interesting artifacts. For example, here you've got clay votive tablets showing images of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in different sitting and standing positions. All this found in Lembah Bujang. We have now come to the last part of the exhibition. This is the 7th floor. And this part actually houses a collection of original manuscripts of the Lotus Sutra. The original manuscripts of the Lotus Sutra that were discovered can be divided into 3 lineages. They are the Nepalese-Tibetan group, and the Gil-Greek group, and also the Central Asian group. One of the best translations of the Lotus Sutra, in fact the best translation from the original Sanskrit to Chinese, was done by a Buddhist scholar named Kumarajiva. The fact that he was able to translate it so well was because he really internalized the message of the Lotus Sutra. And he was able to really feel the spirit of the Lotus Sutra, which made his translations very, very easily understandable. And in fact, it's the basis for many of the modern translations of the Lotus Sutra. The important messages from the Lotus Sutra are the concept of the coexistence of all forms of life, all these different forms of life being unique and different and yet equally capable of revealing the highest potential. The second idea contained within the Lotus Sutra is the concept of the eternity of life. And the third concept is the importance to create peace. Based on the understanding and the appreciation of each life being precious, equal and unique, the Buddhist philosophy of the Lotus Sutra endeavors to propagate the idea that we should respect each other, irrespective of what our backgrounds are. And based on this basic idea of the uniqueness of each person, we promote peace in each country and in the world.